Hey everyone, welcome to the Royce Reports. I am your host Royce, and on today's video, we're going to be talking about what happened to Xbox in 2024 and how I feel about their multi-platform approach. Well, let's talk about it. If you like Xbox, you like talking about games a little bit too much, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And 2024 has been probably the biggest year for Xbox in terms of whiplash that we've ever gotten from a company, I think, ever, especially in the gaming sphere as well. Like 2024 started off so hyped for Xbox. It started off with the ABK deal finally being done and complete. Plus, we had a great lineup of games coming in 2024, which included things like Avowed, Indiana Jones, Hellblade 2, Towerborn, and Stalker 2. The Developer Direct actually did a great job at showing all of these games and showing what we can expect from them later this year. And that was at the top of the year. And I think that's where the peak of Xbox hype was at. And when you look over at the other side of the PlayStation side of things, they were kind of on the exact opposite spectrum. They were kind of wondering where their games were. Where was the state of play that showed off all these great games that their studios were making? PlayStation fans were actually at an all-time low, wondering where the games were. But luckily they had third-party support to kind of help lift them up. But that's not the only support they got. They're actually getting a lot of support from Xbox. And what do I mean by that? Well, the Xbox business update. There was a lot of rumors swirling around that Xbox is going full third party, that all their games, everything is coming over. Halo, Gears, Forza, everything, Starfield, Indiana Jones, the whole nine. We're going to be coming over to PlayStation. The rumors got so out of hand that Xbox had to hold a press conference to tell you what exactly was going on. After this update ended up happening, we found out that Pentiment, Grounded, Hi-Fi Rush, and Sea of Thieves were coming to other platforms, all of them on PlayStation and a few of them heading over to Switch. And this was, I think, the beginning of a very tumultuous relationship between Xbox and their fans, and a lot of people kind of speculating, well, if these games are going, what's next? And a lot of people are trying to cope with this. Now, fast forward to Gamescom, and here we are with Indiana Jones being announced as coming to PlayStation. And I have some feelings about this. I'm gonna be straight and blunt with it. I don't like this at all. Now, I have someone who preaches over and over again that people playing more games on the consoles that they prefer to play them on is never a bad thing. I'm not upset that PlayStation gets to play Indiana Jones. I'm not upset by that at all. I think that's great, that's awesome, and those people don't get to miss out on a great game. What I'm upset about is Xbox is not getting anything in return from this, and that is a problem. So as they stand right now, we as Xbox fans do not know what games are going over to PlayStation, what games are staying exclusive to the console, or what games aren't. And I know that there's a lot of people out there who are going to try to justify the reason why some of these games are going over there because of X, Y, and Z reason. Either because they're too small, they're not a system seller, that's been 5-6 years since they've had them. Indiana Jones is a Disney IP, so they dictate where it goes. All these excuses as to why these games are going over. And again, just to reiterate, I don't mind these games going over. I love the fact that more people get to play Grounded, Sea of Thieves, and all that. The problem is, what are we getting in return for these? Are we getting an Uncharted trilogy for Indiana Jones? If Forza Horizon goes over, which is rumored that there's already a port in development for PlayStation 5. So if Forza Horizon goes over, does that mean that we're getting GT7? Is that what's going on here? Well, we have failed to see this. And the thing is, this whole year Xbox is delivering games on PlayStation, but PlayStation has refused to give them any games. And this is a huge example of this is with Lego Horizon. Lego Horizon is available on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Switch, and PC. And oddly enough, the only console you cannot play Lego Horizon is on the Xbox. It makes sense because they're a direct competitor, but at the same time, it has me worried that it's going to be a scenario where Xbox just gives away their games and that's just the end of it. Now, that is all fine and dandy, but the problem is what ends up happening when you start giving games to other platforms and you don't get anything in return is the people on the Xbox platform will look over at PlayStation, see that they're capable of playing the exact same games and then some over on PlayStation, and then will hop over. I keep seeing people online saying that Xbox is fine, that they're okay with selling 30+ million consoles every generation, but I beg to differ. I don't think that's good enough. I think, like Phil Spencer has said, they're running a business. They're not running a charity. If Xbox is producing hardware and that hardware is not selling and it's actually losing them money, then they're not going to continue to sell that console. They're not going to continue to sell hardware. And there's the telltale signs of this already happening. It is like in its infancy, but you can see it. And I feel like people just keep putting their blinders on, acting as if nothing is wrong. Everything is fine over here on Camp Xbox, when it's actually not. You're already seeing third-party developers not port their games over to Xbox. It's plain as day. It's happening all the time. Right now, it's the small games, but it's going to continue to rise more and more and become more often. We are seeing things like Baldur's Gate 3 miss out on Xbox during its launch, and now we're seeing Black Myth Wukong miss out on Xbox because of parity and power issues that they're dealing with. And now it's essentially a timed exclusive for PlayStation. So if you're really wanting to get into that game, where are you going to go to play that? PlayStation. You're not going to get on Xbox. If this becomes a more and more common occurrence, you're going to see people move over to PlayStation. I don't think Game Pass is strong enough to maintain people in the service. I don't think Game Pass is strong enough to maintain people buying consoles, because what's going on here is you're not gaining any new users outside of the user base that you already have already. So you have PlayStation users who are not going to hop over to Xbox because, well, they're going to get the Xbox games anyways. You have PC users that are not going to hop over to Xbox because Xbox delivers their games day and date to PC, and it's actually cheaper to play on PC with PC Game Pass than it is to play on Xbox with Xbox Game Pass. So that is a better alternative than the Xbox itself. The other issue with them porting games over to PlayStation is Sony is reportedly developing a PlayStation 5 Pro. So once the PlayStation 5 Pro does come out, that means that the games that do go over to PlayStation are going to run better on PlayStation for the people who have a PlayStation 5 Pro, because they have the hardware to do that. Whereas Xbox has reportedly stated that they're not interested in doing a mid-gen refresh, meaning you're going to get the lesser product from Xbox. And all you get to say for it is, oh, I got it in Game Pass and I got it day and date. And if that's enough for you, then I'm happy for you. And I think then this is a perfect console for you. But for other people, it seems like they're more of a trial run while they fix all the issues and deliver the better version of the game with enhancements on the PlayStation. Let me get this straight. I'm not trying to doom and gloom the brand. I think Xbox is fine right now at the moment, but I can see where they might not even do consoles anymore because of the lackluster sales that they've been getting year over year in double digits, almost greater than 50% drop off, which is a terrible rate of drop off. They need to do something different to change. And I think a lot of people online who are talking about this, who don't see this as an issue, are people who are in a very privileged state of mind. And the reason why I say that is because these people tend to have PCs. They tend to have a PlayStation. They have other means of accessing these games. So the games aren't going anywhere, but the console itself might. So those people who don't have any affiliation with it, are able to jump between consoles just fine, they have no issue. The people who don't have that opportunity, who don't have the ability to go and get multiple different consoles, and who bet on the Xbox, they're the ones who are stuck in the ecosystem. And they're the ones who I feel like you're slapping in the face, because they bet on Xbox and are hoping to, have some exclusives to kind of warrant the purchase. Whereas if they wanted to, they could have just waited and got a PlayStation, and all the games that they were interested in, they could have just purchased over there in PlayStation. Unless Game Pass is such a powerful selling tool, which I don't think it is, because Xbox doesn't even market it half the time. So I don't really think this is a good plan for Xbox. And I think that a lot of Xbox fans are either coping or they just have other means to an end so they can go elsewhere. They don't really mind losing out. And I don't think, as an Xbox fan, this is something that you should be excited for. This is something that you should be rooting from the rooftops. More and more developers are going to continue to skip out on Xbox. The only time anyone's going to develop a game for Xbox is if it's a big AAA experience, or if it's Xbox's own studios. That's going to cause people to realize that they can get the same experience, if not better, over on PlayStation, because PlayStation is not giving their games up to anybody. Nintendo is not giving their games up to anybody. People keep talking about how the industry is changing and shifting, and that the reason why Xbox is doing all these things and being pro-consumer is because, well, they have to, because games cost too much. You know, consoles aren't selling as well, which is a true statement. It's a true statement for Xbox and Xbox alone. This is not a true statement for PlayStation or Nintendo, because when have you seen a Nintendo IP go elsewhere other than a Nintendo product? I haven't. I've never seen that happen before. It's always on Nintendo. That's the only way you can get Zelda, only way you get Mario, Donkey Kong, whatever it is, Super Smash Bros. You have to go to Nintendo. If you want to play PlayStation games, you can go and buy a PlayStation, or you can wait upwards of a year sometimes to see if that game will finally get ported over to PC. You had to wait 4 years for Ghost of Tsushima. So, you know, games are coming to other platforms from PlayStation side, but again, it's still not day and date, except for a few exceptions like Helldivers 2 and Concord, that everyone's like trying to make you believe that it's okay for Xbox to go multi-platform, that it's okay for Xbox to lose their games because, you know, it's pro-consumer. It's pro-consumer that you get to choose to play the games where you want to play them. I want to play Spider-Man on my Xbox. I want to play Uncharted on my Xbox. I want to play God of War on my Xbox. And you know what I would have been told if I wanted to do those things is get a PlayStation. If I say to you, "Oh, you want to play Indiana Jones?" Well, here you go. You can have it.
Great! Now let him have it!
You can have it. Say thanks.
No!
There's a cause and effect to this, this is what's going to happen. Because people are going to realize that you get the same exact experience on PlayStation that you can get on Xbox, but PlayStation has a little bit more perks, incentives, and more exclusives. That's going to be the place to go and just wait for your games to go over there. So you're losing your console base. You're going to continue to lose them, and the only people you're going to retain are the hardcores that refuse to leave. Here's one right here. The people who think Game Pass is the best value in gaming and love utilizing Game Pass, and then the people who have pretty much huge libraries of games. Another reason why I'm not going anywhere is because I have over 1,000 games owned, not including Game Pass, 1,000 plus games owned digitally, that if I go anywhere else, I'm losing out on those. So these are the people that are going to continue to stay on Xbox. And that number is going to continue to go down and down and down until there is no more reason to produce an Xbox. And thus Xbox gets out of producing the console. And, you know, Xbox is going to be around in name, sure, but it's not going to be around through hardware. And that's the problem when you have someone like Sony who is just waiting for the death of Xbox. They are eagerly accepting all of these games, no problem, but they're not going to give anything in return because they're waiting for you to just cash out and then be done with it. And then you're going to have another PS3 situation on your hands where they're going to overcharge for the next PlayStation. They're going to up the price of video games. They're going to increase the price of subscriptions, and no one is going to be able to challenge them because they're the only ones in the space. And it's going to be a great day for PlayStation fans because this is exactly what everyone wanted. I don't get how people are kind of trying to shift this into a positive. I see it both on the Xbox side of things, I see it on Sony side of things, I see it on people who don't really have an affiliation with either brand and saying that this is all good for gaming, that they believe in what Xbox is doing. And I believe in it as well if everyone was playing on the same field, which it's not. If you're an Xbox only owner and you think that this is a good plan, please let me know in the comment section below why you think that, because I don't understand how this is something that should be applauded for. Like, I don't think we should be applauding Xbox for going third party when their sales aren't where they're at, where all of these issues are still underlining. I feel like it's a huge slap in the face to fans who have been waiting 10 plus years to see them fight back, right? Like, I'm someone who's been with Xbox since the OG Xbox, but I stood my ground during the Xbox One generation, and towards the end of that generation, we started seeing them acquire all these studios. We saw them acquire ABK. We saw them acquire Bethesda. They started, you know, talking about Game Pass and how they're putting their games day and date and how they're going to have a big game release every single quarter. And it seems like we're on the cusp of that, right? The thing that we've been waiting for over 10 years is right there. And they decide to just say, F the plan, scrap it, just released everywhere. And it's like, you guys were right there. You're right there, man. Like, all you had to do is just continue on track for at least 2 years and see if you would have gotten any return of investment, if you would have seen the consoles actually start to sell. But you didn't. You were right there and you just said, never mind. And that's what, like, it just sucks to see as a fan who's been waiting for them to finally compete against PlayStation. And this is what we get. And I want to end this with the fact that people are going to say something about how, you know, Xbox hasn't really been competing, that PlayStation is, you know, the way it is right now without Xbox. So they're going to continue to operate the same way. I'm just telling you, like, competing against another console only adds innovation to the console itself, because it gives reasons for these developers and these console producers to go and do better and kind of one up each other, so that way you can get more people over to your platform. But there is examples of this where you've seen how great the Xbox 360 was, which caused PlayStation to kind of shift and focus on their first party and try to, you know, get people in by that way, creating some of the best games that they've ever had during the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 generation because of the competition with Xbox. You see PlayStation Plus be developed and in exactly the way it is nowadays because of Game Pass. Like, these things are there for competition, and the consumer is getting better products. Once Xbox is out of the picture, I'm not sure we're going to see much innovation going on from Sony, because they're going to get too comfortable. And we've seen that with the beginning of the PlayStation 3 generation. But I could be wrong. Maybe I'm overreacting. Let me know if I'm just being an X-bot, or maybe I'm, you know, someone who's just lost in the sauce. Let me know in the comment section below. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll be seeing you guys on the next one. And remember, take it easy.